Hey guys, what's up? So, like I promised, I will let you guys know if I got the SDR role, sales development role, and I did not. So, I interviewed on Monday, and I felt the interview. This was the final round. I felt the interview went great, both
Yeah.
with both managers, and I had a little assignment after, and I thought I was going to hear back that I did great from the recruiter, and so they said that it would take, well, the recruiter said it would take 24 to 48 hours to know that they pretty much know or choose quickly. So a day had gone by and I was still waiting. So then um, the second day had came, it was like 48 hours. I was like, you know what, I want to reach out to the recruiter. So the recruiter that I work with was very good. She was very good. She gave me all the tips. And I mean, I followed it to the T. And
Yeah.
I felt that I did exceptionally well in all my interview rounds. So I ended up getting in touch with, well, I emailed the recruiter. I said, hey, just following up on my final interview. I'd love to know what, the decision either way. And then she ended up calling me like 30 minutes later, or maybe an hour later. And she was like, hey, I didn't want to send you the regular email saying, we didn't move forward with you. She said, but they decided to go with another candidate, but you did amazing. I mean, she was just giving me all these props on how well I did. And she really didn't have much feedback to give me from the SDR managers. And so I don't know, it had me feeling kind of like, because I don't like playing any kind of like race cards or anything like that. I don't want to say anything like that, but I would have loved to have seen someone who looked like me on my panel, uh, but there was no one on my panel that looked like me. I mean, my recruiter looked like me, but the people on the six,
Yeah, the decision
the
makers.
decision makers, did not look like
Yeah.
me. And I knew I came prepared, and I did really, really well on the interview. I normally do,
Yeah.
but so they decided to go with a different candidate. And then, so you want to say something before I say anything else?
No, I mean, I don't know. I guess I was just really surprised, actually.
Yeah,
When there's a lot of, you put so many hours
yeah,
into preparing for these interviews, and with the kind of people that we are, it's just hard for us to go in somewhere and wing it. So, I saw you putting in hours,
mm-hmm,
hours and hours daily
yeah,
for take home assignments,
yeah,
for
yeah,
presentations, for like multiple interviews with 6 different people,
yeah,
video interviews. I mean, it's such a long, long process. For you would think they'd be about to pay you $300,000 for these processes, right? Like they're looking for some headhunters, but
yeah. I
it was
think
just surprising that it was very surprising. Cause I mean, I just knew you had it. Like I was like, oh, she got it, she got it.
so low key. And after the interview, I was like, oh, I got it. But then as time went by, I was like, ooh, maybe not. In a way that was like, maybe that's not what God has. And so, like, I know I said in the other interview, I was like, if it's for me, it's mine. And I know a lot of times we say that or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like, oh, if it's for mine, it's if God has it for me, it's gonna be for me. But then when you don't get it, there is like a little sting, right? It's
Yeah,
like
disappointment still.
it is disappointment. It's like, well, if that wasn't it. Now, granted, I wasn't like I've been applying to a lot of places, but I only had those two interviews. So it's not like I've gone through 50 interviews. I
Right.
just didn't want to be going through so many interviews at one time, so I can just focus on a specific company. Um, so it's not like, oh, I didn't get a job, after having tried a lot of times, but so it started to get me thinking, right? Because during the interview that I have with this company and even the previous company, it's like they want someone who is like that's gonna like really generate income and money for their company. They use the words like hunger, like they want you to be hungry and hunger interviews and stuff like that. And it's like, can I do the job? Absolutely, and I can more than likely do well at the job. But like the hunger word got me a little like, do I want to be doing that? Like, do I want my job month by month? Do I want, what am I trying to say? Like, do I want my job security to be month by month if I'm meeting quota? Like, if I meet quota, I get to keep my job. If I don't meet quota, I don't
Yeah.
get to keep my job. You know what I'm saying? So while you get a base and then companies you can get commission, it's still, in my opinion, like touch and go. Like how you did this month, okay, you get to keep your job. How you did the next month versus like, what if I have a month where, I have a bad month, something's going on with family or whatever, and I can't meet those quotas. Do I lose my job? Like, I don't know what it is because I never did an SDR role, but it got me to thinking, like, man, do I really want to be doing that? And I don't know. So I don't know if it's the part of me talking because I didn't get the role, or if it's the part of me saying I didn't get the role and I need, God saying you didn't get the role. I need you to really think about if you actually really want that kind of a role. So, like, I'm still applying and I'm still going through the process of trying to secure the role, but it got me questioning, like, Clarissa, like, do you really want to do this role, or is it the role, the hype right now because everybody's doing that role? I'm just keeping it real. Like,
Right.
It's this hype, like SDR, be an SDR, be an account exec, get into tech and all this stuff like that. And it's like, sometimes, and I'll admit, like, we get on like these hypes with like what's going on in social media, what's going on with like these new employment trends and this boot camp, that boot camp, and all of that. And again, Course Careers was a great boot camp.
Yeah.
It really was. Um, I don't want to be on that wave of doing it because everybody else is doing it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's
You know
kind of
what I'm
hard
trying to
because,
say?
like, I guess like with anything, like you don't know, you don't really know till you do it as well,
Yeah.
and like, and not everything is for everyone, right? Like sometimes, like, sometimes we think like, oh man, I don't even want to do that, and I wasted my money on the course, or I wasted my thing, and it's like, man, no education
Nothing is
thing that
wasted.
you do is wasted because there's still skills that was learned.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like I took the course and I had no intention on being an SDR.
Yeah.
I took it for the purpose of professional development and learning a little more about sales as a skill.
Right.
Because in general, no matter what job you're in, having some level of sales experience is beneficial. Now, granted, do you want the job to be that's all you do is sales? And that's a little different, I guess. It's hard to know. But it kind of went back with what I said in the last video. Like, we've been kind of going through this for the past year now, right? And it's like, okay, like why are these things being blocked? Like, why are these opportunities being blocked that are like, you clearly would be great for it?
Right. Lee think it's being blocked because God has a bigger purpose for us that is going to require me to like be home, but not like
Be flexible.
home, like do, more like being able to be
do.
like do. I'm home, but being more flexible and like executing behind the scenes, so to speak. So that's what he thinks.
Yeah, I just think like it's like we are about to build a business, and I'm gonna claim it here. So like I'm gonna be boldly say that we're gonna build a multi-million-dollar business, and that's gonna require some flexibility.
Right. So
Not that you just stuck here clean. Cause I don't want you in the house cleaning up and cooking and only taking care of kids. I mean, really, my goal is to get nannies and cleaners and help. My thing is that you add a lot to our businesses in general.
Aww.
So like those administrative skills, those other skills you have, they contribute.
That's so sweet.
Anyway,
but like,
so I don't know.
We don't know. Like, real talk. So like, I don't know, y'all. Like, I don't know. Like,
I mean,
a big part of me is like, you're supposed to be behind the scenes doing that business stuff, and then like the fear part is like, I gotta have my own. But like, I think it's just like fear.
Yeah, I told you if you need some paperwork, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't plan on going no. You can have this paperwork. You can have half. You can have more than half. I don't really care.
I'm gonna get more than half. No.
Yeah, I don't even care. Like, everything I do, everything I'm building is for this family. So
let me just talk about, I guess I can talk about it. So the interview was like basic. They asked me some behavioral and situational questions. Like, tell me a time when you went above and beyond. Tell me about a time where you got criticism or some feedback, and how did you handle it? Tell me about a time when you made a mistake and how you handled it. So everything that I had prepared for. Why do you want to be SDR? Why do you want to work for this company? What are some traits what do you think are some traits needed to be a great SDR? And it's like they almost wanted to be like, I'm hungry. I eat, sleep, and drink at this company.
Listen, yeah,
It was
yeah,
founded
yeah.
in 1914. And I'm
Oh,
like,
was it?
nah, it wasn't.
Oh,
But it's
oh, never
like,
mind.
yo,
I said,
like,
that's old. It's
why do I
old.
have to do all of that? And it just had me thinking, like, bruh, like, man, I don't work for nobody.
It just make you
But,
think like, cause like people like jobs will want you to be as passionate about the mission as the person who founded it, and it's like I can never be as passionate about a mission that was someone else's.
right.
Like even now, like I work jobs and like we're gonna work in excellence, but like I'm not like I'm not Jeff Bezos. Like I don't know. I can't be attached and like spirit filled by his mission. I only could be spirit filled and super gung-ho about my mission,
Right.
our brand.
Right. So in the interview, right? So as I'm like selling myself or whatever, and I'm like, I'm very passionate about sales. I'm resilient. I'm like giving all the keywords or whatever. And as I'm saying it, I'm like, man, I'm low key kind of like like it was 80% true, and the other 20% was like I'm BSing. Like I'm like I'm BSing to get this job, and that's like that's not real. You feel me? Like that
Yeah.
ain't me. Like I'm not.
Well, you know, you gotta do that. You gotta do that a little bit with the job.
No, you
know,
have to
gotta
do it
that
with a
little
job.
bit.
Like you have to do it with a job,
yeah.
or what? You have to do it with a job. But I will say, when I worked in law enforcement, when I interviewed there, I felt like I was 100% telling the truth in that interview because that was the season that I was in back then.
Right.
With this, it was like I was like 80, 75, 80%. Then the other 20% was like telling them what they wanted to hear. And I know that's what you do in most interviews, but like I'm past that. It wasn't like my core, because one of my strengths is belief, and that means that like whatever I do and whatever I work in, I have to have a belief in that, company or whatever to support it and to be able to successfully follow behind it. But anyway, like at the end of the day, it's a job, right? Like I can go do the job.
It's a job.
I still may
That's
go
it.
do the job for a time to be able to use it to funnel, use it to pour back into our business, because at the end of the day, it's just a job. But like the experience was, because I called when I spoke to the recruiter, I was like, hey, I just wanted to thank you for rooting for me, because she was like really rooting for me. She said I did amazing.
She seemed sad, didn't she?
She did. She seemed like she was surprised that they didn't choose me, right? Which had me thinking about some other things, like, I really wish somebody on the actual panel looked like me. But
well, talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion, you're supposed to have representation on panels, but I ain't gonna go there. I ain't gonna go there.
We won't go down there. But anyway, y'all, it wasn't God's plan.
Yep.
And so I am still seeking God on if he wants me to go into this role, I'm going to still apply. I'm going to still interview. But unless something significant happens, like with us in business, I'll be still looking. I'll be still looking for work.
Yeah.
As an SDR or, something in that realm. But if y'all got questions about the interview process, or what else they asked me or whatever, comments, and is our email in the info?
Yeah,
you can email us or whatever. I can kind of let you know, share my experience. I had a total of 6 interviews, so to get to the final round, not get it, it stung a bit, but I do trust God's plan.
Yeah, and just in general, pray that God reveals that plan for us, what it's going to be, because again, I'm sure a lot of you've been trying to figure out what is God's, what's the vision that God wants to give your family, or you as an individual, or you and your spouse. And it can be difficult to, I guess, put into action that vision. And right now, we have always been a big vision family. But I guess we're just waiting for God to tell us where to go as well.
Yeah.
And
so we're figuring it out as you got, it's unveiling, it's unraveling.
So yeah, you're right here. You're on the journey with us. You're right in the journey with us. You'll know when something hits. As soon as we hit the lottery, we probably ain't gonna tell you we hit the lottery. You're just gonna see little subtle hints, little lobster and ramen.
Tail on some ramen noodles.
Yeah, you'll see little.
But if you guys have
things.
any certain topics that you guys want to hear about, whether it's business, tech, marriage, let us know. If you want to hear more of something, less of something, also let us know. Give us some feedback on what you guys think.
Yeah. Share, comment,
subscribe. It really helps our channel out. And
peace.
Hey.